If you thought Outlander couldn't possibly surprise us after all these years, think again because Season 8 just cracked the story wide open. Faith Fraser, the daughter Claire believed she lost forever, might still be alive, and that changes everything. The moment this bombshell dropped, the fandom exploded, and honestly, who could blame us? This isn't just a twist, it's a total rewrite of Claire and Jamie's legacy. It's a haunting resurrection, a miracle cloaked in mystery, and the emotional weight of it is almost too much to bear, but it doesn't stop there. The final season of Outlander isn't just bringing back lost daughters, it's tearing apart families, rewriting history, and pushing our beloved characters into impossible situations. And worst of all, Jenny Fraser is not coming back. Yes, you heard that right. The ending of Outlander is going to destroy us, and this is just the beginning. The revelation about Faith Fraser has rocked the very core of the Outlander universe. For 7 seasons, we carried that grief with Claire. The pain of losing her first child was one of the deepest wounds she ever endured. Season 2 broke us with that funeral scene, that tiny grave in Paris, and the silent scream Claire held in her chest for years. And now, out of nowhere, the possibility that Faith might still be alive. It's a twist so shocking, even the most diehard fans were left speechless. But the clues were there, hidden in plain sight, buried beneath layers of time travel secrets, magical bloodlines, and unanswered questions that we dismissed as closed chapters. According to the new trailer and official cast interviews, Claire's entire understanding of what happened in Paris is being re-examined. Catriona Balfe called it a cliffhanger, with seismic emotional fallout, and she's not wrong, because this isn't just a twist, it's a resurrection of the past. And it has the potential to unravel Claire's entire identity. Think about it. If Faith survived, who raised her? Did someone in the hospital take her? Was it a time travel twist? Is she connected to the other mysterious travelers we've met across the seasons? The show has never shied away from using time as a weapon or a blessing, and if this storyline leads us back to a child displaced through time, we're in for something darker than we ever expected. And what would it mean for Claire and Jamie to meet a daughter they never raised? How do you reconnect with a ghost who now walks among the living, shaped by years they never saw? The emotional fallout of that is staggering. There's no simple reunion here. Faith, if alive, has a life, a history, and probably a lot of pain. And it begs the question, if this is real, who kept the secret and why? It also raises something deeper about Claire's power. For years, fans have wondered if Claire's connection to time was more than just a rare bloodline trait. What if her grief kept her from sensing the truth? What if Faith's survival is a key to unlocking something within Claire she's always buried? Diana Gabaldon has hinted that Claire has latent abilities that go beyond healing, and now, with Jamie's life hanging in the balance, these gifts might be all that stand between him and death. In the books, Jamie is wounded so badly in battle that Claire's medicine fails him. So what saves him? The answer might lie in the same force that kept Faith alive. There's a symmetry forming Claire's two great loves, both slipping through her fingers and both tied to powers she still doesn't fully understand. This season isn't just about war and loss, it's about unlocking ancient truths and facing the price of using magic in a world that demands sacrifice. And the stakes are only going to get higher. Because while Faith's return might offer a second chance, the war is offering no such mercy. With the Revolutionary War in full swing, every character is now one step from tragedy. Jamie, Claire, Ian, and William are all pulled into a conflict that's already claiming lives and dividing families. William's journey, especially, is spiraling into chaos. His loyalty to Britain, his growing awareness of his true parentage, and his internal crisis are setting him up for a collision course with Jamie. And no one is prepared for what that will look like. The trauma, the rage, the confusion, it's all building towards something catastrophic. And if the rumors are true, that showdown might come at the worst possible time, when Jamie is already on the brink of death. And amid all this turmoil, the show quietly confirmed a decision that left fans heartbroken. Jenny Fraser Murray will not be returning in Season 8. Matthew B. Roberts, the showrunner, explained it as a practical choice. They simply didn't have room in the story for her arc. But to many fans, this decision feels like a gut punch. Jenny wasn't just Jamie's sister, she was his anchor, the fierce protector of Lalbrook, the woman who carried the Dunsany Dunbonnet legacy. When Jamie couldn't, leaving her out of the final season feels like losing part of Jamie's soul. Some fans are even calling it a betrayal, and honestly, it's hard not to agree. Because while the writers may be focused on tying up the main story, Jenny was part of the main story from the very beginning. Her absence is a painful silence in a season already bursting with loss. As all these threads converge, Faith's return, Jamie's near death, Claire's awakening powers, and the raging war, it's clear that Outlander is preparing to go out with a bang. But this isn't just about spectacle. It's about grief, love, and the impossible choices we make to protect those we care about. And this time, there are no easy answers. The past is coming back, the future is uncertain, and the present is ripping our favorite characters apart. If Faith truly returns, it won't just be a reunion, it will be a reckoning. And we'll be right there watching hearts break in slow motion. As the storm of war rages around them, Claire finds herself standing at the edge of something far more terrifying than a battlefield, losing Jamie Fraser for good, and this time, it might not be something she can fight with scalpel or science. In Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone, Jamie is gravely wounded in battle, so much so that even Claire, with all her skill, cannot heal him in time. She finds him broken, bleeding, and barely alive on a cold mountainside, and for a terrifying moment, she thinks it's too late. That scene is already haunting enough in the books. But if the show follows it, and all signs point to yes, it will be Claire's darkest hour. But here's where things get even more complicated. The timing of Jamie's injury might line up exactly with the moment Claire learns the truth about Faith. And that's no coincidence, because the writers are setting something up that's far deeper than just a war injury, or a shocking twist. They're building toward a reckoning with time itself. We've always known there was something special about Claire, not just her ability to travel through time, but something deeper, something ancient. A connection to healing that goes beyond medicine. In earlier seasons, we saw hints of this power, but it was always left in the shadows, unspoken and unresolved. But now, with both Jamie and Faith in the narrative spotlight, the final season is poised to force Claire to unlock that power or lose everything. Think about it, 2 lives, both hers, hanging in the balance, one she thought lost forever, the other her soulmate, slowly slipping away in front of her eyes. That is the ultimate emotional paradox. And if Diana Gabaldon's long-running hints are anything to go by, Claire is about to face a choice that will change the series forever. Because magic in the Outlander universe always comes with a cost, and this time, the price may be too high. What's even more chilling is how quiet Claire's transformation has been over the years. We were all so focused on the surgeries, the field hospitals, the makeshift medicine on battlefields, but what if Claire's greatest gift was never her training at all? What if her healing hands weren't born of 20th century science, but of something passed down through generations of women like her? Women who could feel time shift, women who could sense life where others saw only death. The idea that Claire has been suppressing a deeper, magical connection to the world around her makes the story of Faith even more tragic. What if Claire could have saved her but didn't know how? That kind of guilt doesn't just live in the past. It shapes the present, and now, with Jamie's life on the line, she might be forced to reach back into that pain, face it head on, and find something inside herself she never dared to before. But the heartbreak doesn't stop with Claire, because even as she prepares to face this unimaginable test, the world around her is falling apart. Ian is growing more distant, more battle-worn. The war is changing him, hardening him, and pulling him away from the gentle soul we once knew. His connection to the Mohawk, his knowledge of the land, and his sense of identity are all clashing in a season where loyalties are under fire. He's caught between cultures, and the final season seems determined to put that inner conflict on full display. And then there's William, Jamie's secret son, now fully immersed in the war, completely unaware that the man he may be fighting against is his own father, Charles Vandervaart. Who plays William said it himself, his identity has been shattered. That's not just a character arc, that's a ticking time bomb. Because if William and Jamie ever meet on the battlefield, the fallout won't just be physical, it will be emotional, psychological, and devastating beyond words. And in the middle of this chaos, Jenny's absence is beginning to feel more and more like a missing heartbeat. Fans are still reeling from the confirmation that Jenny won't appear in season 8, and the decision has left a bitter taste. Because Jenny represented a part of Jamie that no one else could, his past, his roots, his loyalty to family above all else. Without her, Jamie is unmoored. He's lost more than a sister, he's lost a mirror to his own soul. And while the writers say they had to focus on stories with direct impact on Jamie and Claire, it's hard to imagine a more direct impact than the woman who helped raise Jamie, protected him, and stood by him through every storm. Her absence leaves a hole in the story, and one that fans aren't willing to ignore. So here we are. Claire is facing a truth too painful to bear. The daughter she mourned might be alive, her husband, the love of her life, is dying, and her world is slipping through her fingers. The old Claire, the woman who arrived at Cray Na Dun in season 1, would never have believed it could come to this. But now she has to make a choice that no one should ever have to make. Does she risk everything, tap into powers she barely understands, and try to save Jamie? Or does she accept the cost of fate and let the story unfold as it must? Either way, nothing will ever be the same again, while Claire and Jamie's world teeters on the edge of collapse. Another storm brews quietly across the generations, one wrapped in mystery, legacy, and the strange pull of time itself. Brianna and Roger have endured everything this world has thrown at them: loss, betrayal, time travel, death threats, and impossible decisions, and yet somehow they've survived. But surviving doesn't mean they've escaped, not even close. In fact, Season 8 is about to thrust them into the center of something much bigger than they've ever imagined. Because the story is no longer just about Jamie and Claire, it's about what they're leaving behind. And their grandchildren, Jemmie and Mandy, may hold the key to everything. Yes, everything. Let's start with Brianna. She's always been torn between time periods, between loyalty to her parents and her new family, between science and faith, but now, with her children showing signs of abilities that mirror Claire's, and possibly even go beyond them, she's being forced to question everything she believes. How do you raise a child who can feel the pull of time? How do you protect them from something you don't understand? Season 7 gave us only a glimpse of Jemmie and Mandy's gifts. But those moments weren't just sweet nods to the future, they were warnings. The time travel gene, the subtle intuition, the uncanny awareness of places they've never been, these aren't coincidences. These are markers of something deeply rooted, ancient, and possibly dangerous. The Fraser bloodline carries more than love and loyalty, it carries power, and power always comes with a price. Roger, ever the protector, is now more than just a scholar or a father. He's a man facing the terrifying realization that his children may be called into a war that isn't theirs, a war across time. His arc has always been about transformation, from reluctant historian to warrior, from lost soul to spiritual anchor. But in Season 8, Roger will be tested in ways he never imagined. How do you guard your children against a force you can't fight? What do you do when the past and future are both hunting your family? The weight of it all is crushing, and it's leading to a question the show hasn't dared to fully ask until now. Is time itself the real enemy? Because here's the twist: if Jemmie and Mandy's gifts are as strong as hinted, they might become the center of a story far beyond Season 8. There's already talk of a spin-off. Diana Gabaldon has mentioned the possibility of continuing the saga through the next generation. And the showrunners have been deliberately planting seeds that feel like setup. These children aren't just side characters, they're inheritors of a legacy built on love, war, sacrifice, and the unknown. But with that legacy comes danger. If the world discovers what they can do, if the government or outside forces learn about time travel, the entire family could be in jeopardy. There are already theories swirling that someone, maybe even someone close, is watching them, tracking them, preparing to use them. It's chilling to think about. But this has never been a simple story. This is Outlander. Pain is always around the corner, and through all of this, Brianna and Roger are hanging on by a thread. Their marriage, once shaken by betrayal and trauma, now has to withstand the ultimate pressure, raising children who may be called to something far greater than they ever wanted. And Brianna, especially, is haunted by the parallels. Her mother lost faith, and now she's terrified of losing her own daughter in a different way. What if Mandy travels through time and never comes back? What if Jemmie's abilities pull him away into a future or past that tears the family apart? These fears are real, raw, and relatable because no parent wants to feel powerless. But that's exactly what time travel does. It strips away control. It turns love into risk. And for the Mackenzies, the risk has never been greater. The writers have confirmed that Brianna and Roger will play a crucial role in Season 8. But they've also hinted that their storyline will be emotionally draining. That phrase alone has fans on edge. We've seen them suffer, grow, and rebuild, but there's a growing sense that peace will continue to elude them. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Outlander has never been about peace, but about the fight to hold onto love in a world determined to rip it away. And for Brianna and Roger, that fight now includes protecting a new generation of Fraser's children who may be both a blessing and a curse. As the season builds toward its climax, one thing is becoming painfully clear: no one is safe. Not Jamie, not Claire, not even the youngest members of the Fraser family. Because time doesn't care about love, it doesn't care about legacy, it doesn't care who you are. It takes, it steals, and unless someone can find a way to control it or stop it, it will take everything from them. Faith might return, Jamie might survive, but the future, that's still up for grabs. And if Jemmie and Mandy are the key, then the real battle is only just beginning. The Revolutionary War isn't just a historical backdrop anymore, it's about to consume everything and everyone we love. Outlander has been slowly tightening the noose around its characters with every passing season, but Season 8, this is the breaking point. Because war in the world of Outlander doesn't just claim lives, it shatters relationships, identities, and the fragile hope that's kept everyone moving forward. Jamie Fraser is finally being pulled into the center of the storm, and this time, There's no safe return. The man who's survived prison, betrayal, loss, and battles before is now walking straight into a war that history has already written. We know what happened in the American Revolution, but what we don't know is how Jaime's story fits into that timeline and whether he'll survive it. Because for the first time, Jaime's fate is in the hands of writers who are no longer following the books. And that's a terrifying thought, according to both cast and crew. The war scenes in Season 8 are unlike anything the show has done before, bigger, bloodier, and more emotionally brutal. This isn't just about musket fire and cavalry charges. This is about fathers facing sons, brothers turning on each other, and moral lines being crossed in the name of loyalty. The emotional stakes are impossibly high. Take William, for example. Still fighting under the British flag. He's been struggling with identity ever since learning the truth about his parentage. He knows something is off, he can feel the cracks. In the story he's been told his entire life, and those cracks are widening. Charles Vandervaart has already said William's arc in Season 8 is about facing the unfaceable. That's not subtle, that's a warning. And if William ends up on the battlefield opposite Jaime Fraser, his biological father, how do you even begin to recover from something like that? Can you recover at all? Meanwhile, Ian is spiraling deeper into his own personal reckoning. He's been hardened by loss, shaped by two worlds that never fully accepted him. His loyalty is no longer clear. Is he fighting for Scotland, for America, for the Mohawk, or for himself? The war is tearing at the core of who Ian has become, and there's a growing fear among fans that he may not survive the season. His bond with Jaime is strong, yes, but war doesn't care about bonds, it breaks them. It corrupts them, and it turns good men into ghosts. If Ian dies, especially in a sacrifice to save someone else, it will send shockwaves through the fandom. And yet, that's exactly the kind of ending this show seems to be building toward. A heartbreak we'll never forget, but the most devastating blow isn't a death, it's a betrayal. Because somewhere in all of this, someone close to the Frasers is going to turn on them. There are whispers online, theories fueled by small hints, in interviews and cryptic dialogue in the trailer that suggest not everyone is who they seem. It wouldn't be the first time Outlander pulled a betrayal out of left field. Remember Laogaire? Gillis Duncan, even Dougal, but this time, the betrayal might come from someone we trusted. Someone we loved. Could it be someone from Brianna's side of the family? A time traveler with an agenda, or someone from the past who's been playing the long game all along? Whatever the case, the final season is being shaped as much by emotional war as by physical battle. And betrayals cut deeper than bullets. And then there's the absence that continues to echo through the story. Jenny Fraser Murray. It's not just that she won't appear in the season. It's how the show handles her absence that has fans outraged. Will they write her off in a throwaway line, say she died off screen? Or worse, just pretend she doesn't exist anymore? That would be a grave mistake. Jenny wasn't just a character, she was the heartbeat of Lallybroch, the keeper of the Fraser legacy. And leaving her out of the final chapter feels like a betrayal not only to Jaime, but to the audience that's walked this journey since the beginning. Fans are already expressing anger and heartbreak online, demanding answers. Demanding justice for a character who meant so much. Because in a show built on the power of family, erasing someone like Jenny is more than a creative decision, it's a wound that won't heal. As the war barrels forward, as the characters are pulled apart by time, duty, and destiny, the story of Outlander is reaching a fever pitch. There are no more second chances, no more gentle reunions. The stakes are life and death, love and loss, truth and lies, and when it's all over, the world we return to won't be the same one we left. Because this season is not about victory, it's about survival. And not everyone will survive. Faith may come back, Jaime may cling to life. But something precious will be lost. Maybe it's trust, maybe it's innocence. Or maybe it's the illusion that love alone is enough to rewrite fate. As Outlander barrels toward its final moments, one thing is clear: this ending won't come quietly. It won't be neat, it won't be easy, and it certainly won't be what we expected. For years, this story has been about defying time, bending fate, and fighting against history to protect the people we love. But now, history is catching up. And with Diana Gabaldon's final book still unfinished, the writers of the show are stepping into the unknown. That's what makes this final season so terrifying and so thrilling, because for the first time, we're not just waiting to see how the book ends, we're about to witness an ending that no one, not even the original author, has mapped out. That means anything can happen, anything, and that freedom comes with both hope and heartbreak. Sam Heughan has already said that Season 8 is epic, emotional, and full of surprises. Catriona Balfe echoed that by calling it the most spiritually heavy season of the series. These aren't just promotional sound bites, they're warnings. This final season is going to change how we see every character, every relationship, and every sacrifice that's come before. And perhaps most painfully of all, It may ask us to let go of some of the very people we fought so hard to hold onto. Because if Outlander has taught us anything, it's that love doesn't always mean survival, and sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that end in pain. The return of Faith Fraser is already shaping up to be the most soul-shaking twist of the entire series. Whether she's truly alive, some echo of magic, or something else entirely, her presence alone redefines everything. It turns Claire's pain into prophecy. It turns the loss that shaped her into a question mark, and if the show explores the full emotional weight of that, if Jamie meets the daughter he never held, if Claire faces the child she buried, it will be the most devastating reunion we've ever seen. Not just because it's painful, but because it demands something impossible. Closure for a wound that never truly healed. And perhaps forgiveness for themselves, for each other, and for the choices they made while living with that grief. But don't forget, Outlander is never just about one person's journey. This final chapter is also a passing of the torch. Brianna, Roger, Jemmy, and Mandy aren't just footnotes, they're the future. The hints at their inherited abilities, their growing roles in the story, and the possibility of a larger mythos around time travel all suggest that this isn't the end of the Fraser legacy, it's the beginning of something new. There's already chatter about a spin-off, maybe even a next-generation series. And if Season 8 ends with the Mackenzies stepping forward into a new destiny, fans will have plenty to hold onto long after the final credits roll, but that doesn't soften the blow, because no matter what comes next, saying goodbye to Claire and Jamie, the heart and soul of the series, is going to hurt. Their love story has survived centuries, bloodshed, betrayal, and time itself. And now, it faces its final test. Will they both live to see the end? Will Jamie survive his wounds? Will Claire finally embrace the powers she's denied for so long? Will Faith be the miracle that heals their fractured family, or the ghost that haunts their final days? These are the questions tearing through the fandom. And we might not like the answers, because as much as we want a happy ending, Outlander has never been about happy endings. It's about truth, raw, messy, beautiful truth. And the truth is, some stories don't end in peace. They end in legacy. That's what makes the absence of Jenny Fraser Murray all the more painful. Not just because fans wanted closure, but because her missing presence is a symbol of everything that Outlander is losing as it ends. Characters who mattered, relationships that shaped the core of the series, stories we'll never get to see play out. And while the showrunners argue that time was too short, fans aren't ready to forgive that choice. Not yet, because Jenny deserved a send-off. Her story mattered. And cutting her out feels like cutting out a piece of Jamie himself. So now, we wait. We wait for the final trailer, the premiere date, the last words. We brace ourselves for tears, for gasps, for heartbreak. We cling to the hope that the writers will honor these characters with the respect they deserve. That Jamie and Claire will find some measure of peace, that Faith's story will be told in full, that the war won't destroy everything we've loved. And above all, that the legacy of Outlander will live on, not just in spin-offs or books, but in the hearts of every fan who walked this journey. From the stones of Cray Na Dun to the final battlefield. Because this story is ours now, and even when the screen fades to black, we won't forget it. We can't forget it. It's burned into our hearts, forever. As the last season of Outlander approaches its conclusion, one truth becomes heartbreakingly clear. This story was never just about time travel, or war, or politics. It was always about love, the kind of love that survives death, crosses centuries, and defies logic. The kind of love that burns so fiercely, it becomes legend. And now, as we prepare to say goodbye to Claire and Jamie Fraser, it feels like we're letting go of something personal, something sacred. For years, they've been more than characters. They've been symbols of resilience, of passion, of unshakable devotion. And watching their journey come to an end feels like saying goodbye to a part of ourselves. But Outlander has never given us simple endings. And this final season promises to deliver a farewell that is equal parts beautiful and brutal, because this isn't just the end of a series, it's the closing of a chapter that redefined historical storytelling, romantic drama, and emotional storytelling on television. Everything is coming full circle. From the moment Claire stepped through the stones at Cray Na Dun in Season 1, we knew this story would never follow the rules. The moment she landed in 18th century Scotland, fell into Jamie's arms, and chose to stay in a world not her own, a new kind of epic was born. And now, as time catches up with them, and as war, magic, and memory collide, we're left to wonder, what will be their final legacy? Will Claire finally understand the full truth of her powers? Not just as a healer, but as someone whose very existence bends the fabric of time. Will Jamie, the warrior poet who has given everything, be granted the peace he's long been denied? Or will the cruelty of history and fate steal their last moments from them? As it has so many before, one thing is certain: this ending won't be neat. It won't tie every thread into a perfect bow, and honestly, it shouldn't, because Outlander was never about perfection. It was about messiness, chaos, the impossible choices that define who we are. Season 8 is leaning into that uncertainty, giving us moments of deep emotional reckoning, unexpected reunions, tragic losses, and possibly even redemption in the most unexpected places. Faith Fraser's return, whether real or symbolic, is part of that. A reminder that the past is never truly gone, that every tear shed in Season 2 still echoes in the choices being made now. And if Faith truly stands before Claire, if mother and daughter are finally reunited after a lifetime of separation, it will be the most soul-stirring, haunting, and beautiful scene Outlander has ever delivered. But for every reunion, there will be partings. And it's the